Okay, so we are back talking about ex people pleasers. One of the things about being an ex people pleaser is that our identity has to come forth. And what I mean by that is if you were a true people pleaser like I was, over the years, you have bowed, you have bent, you have turned, you have squeezed, you have stretched yourself, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you do your hair to fit in. And one of the things the Holy Spirit was letting me know that it's time for me to wear my hair. Not that getting crochets, which I love, which hopefully I can go back some other time, and getting wigs, there's nothing wrong with that. But that is not who you are. A lot of time for those of us that have been people pleasers for so many years, God will start beginning to require us to do things differently because He knows that we don't fully know what we like. We don't fully know who we are. We don't fully know that we haven't fully embraced ourselves because we have been so busy embracing other people's ideas, what other people think is good, what other people think is popular or is the right way. And I think the Lord had been trying to get me to just do my own hair for a while, stick with my hair for a while. Um, but I wasn't catching it because I wasn't ready. Because the thing about it is when you wear natural hair, it's not always the way you want it. It's not always shaped the way. It doesn't always make your face look the most certain way, or the way that everybody thinks it should. And when you have been a people pleaser, it's easy to conform quickly. And see, the thing is, when you're conforming, you're not being your authentic self. And then it's like, how can you do the authentic work that God has given you if you're not fully being who you are? For those that have never struggled with that, you might not quite understand. But for those of us who God is transitioning from being people pleasers to God pleasers, He may require you to start doing things differently. He may, for me right now, it's my hair. He may change, to have you change the way you dress. He may have you change the way that you talk. He may have you doing so many different things because when you have gone all kinds of ways to try to fit in, to try to be accepted, to please people, you lose the true clarity of your identity. And because of that, you cannot be your authentic self, like I said before. And then even like, for example, with my hair, when I put on the wig, it looks good, but it's the wig that everybody, it's the style. you know this person and this person right here might not have this style, but how many other people have that style? When you look at David, when he was anointed by Samuel, he didn't look like the brothers. In fact, Samuel, because you would think the prophet, he wouldn't think like that, but no. This shows you that Samuel was a human just like anybody else. As anointed as he was and as powerful as he was, the first thing he was going to do is pick one of the brothers that was tall and strong and had the look. But God said, "Don't look on his out on his countenance, on the outside. Look at according to my vision, to my eyes. I know what is in David's heart." And so that's who was anointed. When you look in 1 Samuel 17, talking about David again, we see that David stepped up. David stepped up in the midst where everybody was frightened and scared of Goliath. David stepped up. Even his brothers had been talking junk to him. He stepped up. And the thing about it is, Saul tried to give him his armor. And see, the thing is, many of us have tried to step up and do what God has called us to do, but it has failed. It has not been successful because we have been using someone else's armor. We have been using other people's looks. We have been using other people's styles. We have been using other people's tonality. We have been using other people's vernacular. Come on. We have been using all kind of other people's things, and we don't even know what we like ourselves. And so God is like, look, I'm ready to take you to a next place. And to get to that next place, I want you to shed off some other things. And some of that shedding off is your appearance. You know, not that appearance is, you know, because he told us not to look on the appearance. But the thing about it is, when appearance has been a stronghold, has been a stumbling block. Because the thing about it is, if David would have put on that armor that Saul gave him, first of all, David was a little boy, young man, and Saul was a big old grown man. Now, you know good and well that armor wasn't going to fit David well. David probably would have tripped trying to fight that giant. And the thing about it is, David said, no, I can't do that. I need to use what I'm familiar with. And see, the thing about it is the Lord has given many of us things in that secret place with him. When we're alone, we have a way, you know, we dream and we see this, and he's spoken to us, and you know, God has used us to say different things to people or help implement different things in small ways. But when it comes to really doing it on a larger scale, we snap back into putting on someone else's armor. What do people tell us that we should put on? And it's like, no, it's not going to work like that. David used what he had already tested, what he had already done, what God had given him. And see, that's what we have to, those of us that are transitioning from people pleasers to God pleasers, we have to be comfortable and use what we have tested, use what God has given us. And for some of us, we don't even know what is tested, because we have tried to be and do what other people do for so long. We have tried to look and sound like other people. And it's like, at this time, it's like, let all of that go. Yeah, you know what I mean? With the natural hair, it's not always going to look perfect. It's not going to be what everybody feel comfortable with or accept, but that's okay. If you called to be a trailblazer, but you looking like everybody else, you called to be a trailblazer, but you got the same style, you got the same look. Come on, no. Be who God made you. I know that that's what I have to be. And so part of that has to do with my hair. Now, y'all pray for me, because I don't know how to do the hair. So that means I'm going to have to trust God, and I'm going to have to get some of y'all to help me. You know, y'all call and give me some ideas what to do with this hair. But no, I'm excited, because I realize that by using and being what God has given me, then I'm closer to being my authentic self, and then I'm more free. So I don't have all those crazy thoughts in my head getting in the way from me listening to God, surrendering to God, and to do his work, because I'm free from that. I'm free from that pressure, and I'm open to be who God has called me to be, to do what God has assigned me to do, the way that God has assigned me to do it. So yeah, I'm talking about my hair, because there's some of you just like me. You have spent many years, you will wear your hair natural, but for the most part, you'll jump into that wig in a minute. You'll jump into that crochet braid in a minute, because you're not comfortable and confident in what God has given you and who you are. But God is telling you, if you're like me, he's telling me, but he's telling you, come undressed. Take the mask off of other people's style, other people's looks, and walk in the look that I've given you. And if you don't know what that look is, learn with him. Learn with him. That's what I'm doing.